Crystal, I think I found the registration. That wasn't clear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You're good because I'm there now.
Okay. I gotta go do something with my hair at this moment. So
Okay.
I'm gonna join without video for now, so I'm on board.
All righty.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We're recording. So welcome everyone to the weekly business briefing. I am Crystal Mitchell and I wear several hats. I am the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars. I am a business coach in the community, and as well as I host a show called The Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, and we broadcast live every Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Talking about some of the same things we do here, but we really are speaking on how that as a community, a Black community, do we change how we do business and making sure that we do business that is striving for success and that we're not surviving and that we're thriving. And one of my main purposes for this platform, and Stephen Turner representing the BBA, we are hosting this platform to create unity and solidarity in our community, to close off our silos, to make sure that we have a voice and that voice is loud enough to change what has been going on in our community. So you guys all participate every week, so I would assume you're on that same page with us, and we thank you for that. Today, we have someone that's quite informed about what goes on in the city of Los Angeles. I just think she's absolutely amazing. She's one of the brilliant minds in our community, and I've worked with her on certain projects, and I'm just amazed at how fast her brain processes stuff. And she's very well connected in the community. She's doing an excellent job down on Central Avenue. They have their own little eco center down there, and we'd love to have that happen all over Los Angeles. So let me welcome Sherri Franklin, and she'll tell you a lot more about what she does. And she's very important in our community, guys, and it's important that everyone knows what she does. So welcome, Sherri.
Thank you so much, Crystal, and thank you for allowing me to join you today. And hello, everyone. I see lots of very familiar faces and names. So as Crystal said, my firm is Urban Design Center. We are thought leaders for community revitalization efforts to help bring visions and dreams to reality. We focus on legacy building development for small businesses, as well as community and economic development for nonprofits and developers who are trying to change or enhance the essence of our environment within our community and make sure that it's driven by and thought about by and created by people right here in our own community. That's our focus. We believe that development and managing a business isn't rocket science. We just have to know the science, and we're all capable of doing that. So having opportunities like this is what it takes. And so thank you, Crystal, for all you do. Thank you, Stephen, for inviting me. I really appreciate it. And thank you to BBA and Skip Cooper. Urban Design Center is engaged in many different things right now. We are consultants to several nonprofit organizations and government agencies around affordable housing development. We're also advising on several for-profit development ventures here in the city. We are business improvement district formation consultants. We help businesses, entities or corridors create bids. The City of Los Angeles has an approved list of consultants. We're one of them, and our focus is on South Los Angeles area, where we help create these districts that focus on how do you enhance business and keep the environment safe and clean. The two that we are currently working with, we formed the Central Avenue Historic District and put management in place. We train the staff on how to manage it. So the Central Avenue Historic District goes from Washington to Vernon on Central Avenue, and then also the Greater Leimert Park Village Crenshaw Corridor BID, which includes Leimert Park and then basically the area around the mall and Marlton Square. So those are the business improvement districts that we're currently working with. And we think that that is a great tool for other communities to consider. It effectively creates a tax base where you do tax the property owners if it's a property-based bid. And you can pull those dollars to pay for things like marketing, branding, a clean streets team, ambassador team. You could also do it just with a cluster of businesses that are located in a certain area. But it's easier to collect the funds if it's a property-based bid. We are consultants. We help, I'm on the board of directors for the West Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, and we helped them obtain the bid license for both Sunset Strip and also the Design District. So those are two districts that have existed, and we have welcomed one of the partners that we brought to the table, Cheryl Branch, with LA Metropolitan Churches. She's actually managing the bid in Leimert Park, and we introduced her to West Hollywood so that she can be the management entity. That's part of one of the things that we're doing at Urban Design Center. We can't do everything ourselves. We can't be a part of everything. We have to work to also grow other businesses to be able to participate in opportunities and to expand. So we've been focusing a lot on building internal capacities of other businesses to do a community and economic development work. As part of our efforts to do that, we have we designed a new platform called the UDC Resiliency Studio, which we're launching in August. And that Resiliency Studio will be a platform for vision builders and dream builders and nonprofits who are looking to scale, who are looking to expand, to find more resources, to create partnerships, to train their staff, to find jobs in the industry. So it'll have it'll be a multifaceted opportunity for us to connect around community development and business development and have a strong focus on raising capital. Our firm has raised over $150 million for various different ventures here in our community. And the tools, again, are not rocket science. We just have to share and talk. A lot of other communities meet every week, every day, talking about how do they pool their assets, how do they create an opportunity for people to have local ownership, and what are they going to go after. So if we start to vision more what we would like to see in our own communities, I really believe we won't have to worry so much about what others are coming in or gentrification, what are they coming in to do, because we can have a leadership role in deciding what that is going to look like, who's going to own it, how is it going to be developed, and what are the goals and objectives of those developments. I'm really excited to be a part of a team that's doing an assessment of the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza. Very excited because it's, again, an opportunity for our collective energies, our collective requisite expertise to come together and say, this is what the site should look like. This is what's feasible. This is how it would work for our community. And we have brought to the table many great leaders that you all know. Dolores Brown from the Community Economic Development Corporation, Jackie DuPont Walker with Ward EDC, Roland Wiley, who's Raw International Architects, and we have other people, other organizations who've come to the table, Community Build and so forth, so that we can create a place that is owned by the community, driven by the community, and envisioned by the community, and perhaps other business opportunities, such as, making it so that we can create our own ISP center so that we can offer Wi-Fi not only to the site, but to the surrounding communities, and make sure that we provide financial support for new business ventures that want to come in. Maybe we create an entertainment cluster in the site where it's about 40 plus acres. That's a large parcel of land right in the middle of our community. And we believe we can come up with an idea that can be something that everyone can have a participation in, ownership, business opportunity, housing. And if we don't come together and put the plan together, what happens? Somebody else comes in and they do it. And that's what's happened to us several times with that property. And it's something that I would like to be committed to doing. Let's envision what we want to see on every parcel in our entire community, and let's envision what kinds of businesses make sense in our community, and how do we grow them, how do we scale them, how do we finance them, how do we train the staff for them. I think that should be a daily conversation that we have in our communities around a multitude of industries. Another industry that I'm involved in is cannabis. We have been able to create the largest cannabis incubator in the United States. It's called Go Verde. It's at goverde.com, goverde.com. And Go Verde is a vertically integrated cannabis group of companies that are people who are from our community, grew up in our community, lived in our community, and were impacted by the war on drugs. And they are the people who the city wrote the law for. It hasn't benefited as many people as it should, but by coming together as a collective, we were able to meander through the licensing process. We were able to stand tall and not allow some big investor to come in and buy out the space. So we have now over 100,000 square feet of space under control for cannabis grow, cannabis manufacturing, distribution, and we have partnerships with people who are retailers and delivery companies. We've launched an online platform called Verde Road for the delivery management. And that, once we did that, I was like, we did this with cannabis, the most stringent and convoluted legal system we have for any industry. We were able to do that. We raised $500,000 amongst our friends and family to build it out, to pay for the rent, which is no joke. It's like each building space is $15,000 a month for that 10,000 square foot space. But we were able to do that, make it through and become licensed and lead people who were formerly people who had not worked in any regulatory environment through that process. So what that told me is if we can do that for that industry, we can do that in the food industry. We can do that in maybe the car parts industry. We can do that in any other industry. Let's take that model and repeat. And so that's one of the things that we're looking at, particularly around food, manufacturing and creation. I think that's another area we can create incubation around. We're consumers, but why not become consumers that are ambassadors of things that we own? You know, why not own what everybody else wants? Why are we looking out our window and looking at land and going, oh, it's just there, and then somebody else comes and decides what goes there? We can change that trajectory together, and that's what my life commitment is towards, is to do that. And I'm looking forward to working with as many people in our community to make something like that happen.
See, guys, I told you she's awesome. She's awesome. She thinks big. I like the big thinking. So Sherri, how do we go about that? What are the steps? Because I've actually seen what has happened at on Central Avenue. I've worked with you on that. I am just I was blown away when I was first introduced to you. And did the work and helped with the accounting piece of that. How do we duplicate that, and how do we go about creating these incubators of growth in our own community?
So the first thing is what's happening right now is to come together and to think about it, vision, and make a plan to understand what the asset is, what is the value, what is the opportunity. There's plenty of tools to do that kind of research. But Central Avenue, my work on Central Avenue started in 1990, and it's not it's a short period of time. That's over 30 years ago. I worked with Concerned Citizens, Juanita Tate, to start their Housing and Economic Development Division. And we put our first piece of land in escrow in 1990, and then another piece of land and another piece of land. So now you see all these beautiful housing developments that were created, and the Juanita Tate Marketplace on the corner of Slauson and Central, we put that in escrow in 1990. It was owned by Mr. Brown, who owned a lot of property here in the city, and that's important because we have a lot of legacy property owners that don't have team members who can help them build it. So for instance, one of the developments on Central was at Central Avenue and 46th Street there. And it was a piece of property owned by a doctor named Dr. Wilkins. And I would drive at the time I had a little Miata. And so I would drive up and down the street, and I would drive one day and he had built one side of the wall, and then I'd drive maybe another day and he had torn it down and started building another place. And I just said, what is that guy doing? So finally I just stopped. I said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm Dr. Wilkins, and I had hired a general contractor, but I'm going to lose my insurance and my loan if I stop construction. So I decided that all I knew how to do was build the wall over and over again, and I'm still in construction. My heart sank at that moment. I was like, oh my God. So I went to Anita Tate, and we had just closed on our first deal at 27th and Central for 40 units of affordable housing. And I'll tell you what I tell a lot of people. People go, oh, well, you can't do that housing yourself. Where are you going to get the money? How are you going to raise it? I said, we're going to read the same things that the people are going to come here and sell us their services to do. All they did was read the low-income housing tax credit guidelines. It's called a qualification plan. They read that, and then they figured out how to do it. So I read it. Now I know what we're going to do, and we're going to go to the same investors that they go to, and we're going to syndicate our own tax credits. So that's what's going to happen, and that's what we did. So we had this developer fee from our first deal. So I said, Anita, we've got to buy this land and help this doctor because he doesn't have any resources. And I can remember going to this little hole in the wall place with this lender who had foreclosed or was trying to foreclose on him. And you go there and you have to bring a cashier's check of $90,000. And it looked so seedy. And we just looked at each other, and she said, are you sure we should do this? And this doesn't look real. I said, we should do it. And we stood there and we prayed over it, and we gave that check, and then we were able to buy that land. We named that building One Wilkins Place in honor of Dr. Wilkins. And we saved a piece of property in our community. And so a lot of it comes around visioning. I encourage everybody to just have a vision, and nothing is too big. The price of the mall is $130 million. 130. The Macy's building is going to cost another $40 million. Can we do it? Absolutely. Absolutely we can. What we have to be concerned about now is preserving the businesses that are there because we're in the middle of COVID and it's having an impact. But when you look at how the tools we can bring together to make that happen, we have all of those tools in a partnership structure. And so that's one of the things that I also want us to do is to think partnership, think collective economics. We don't have to have everything. You don't have to own everything. You don't have to only me. It's not about me, it's about we. And if we can get over that hurdle, I just believe there's nothing that is too difficult for us to pull off. Those are the two things. I tell people, read. It's all there. For the mall, we're studying, we're reading, we're looking at all the data. It's in an opportunity zone. We know how to structure that. We can go after new markets tax credits, make that happen. We know all the bankers. You guys all know all the same bankers that invest in new markets tax credits every single day. And we can go and get $65 million in tax credits to buy it. We can present to an opportunity zone investor and tell them why this is one of the best pieces of properties in the country and why so many other people want it. If they're coming and plopping down cash, there's value. We are not seeing our own value. That is where we're going wrong, is not understanding and appreciating our own value.
Sherri, so I sat in on a town hall meeting recently, and Damon Goodman was explaining exactly what transpired with the Baldwin Hills Mall. And can you kind of enlighten everybody? I mean, you guys did something absolutely incredible. You, a predator that was coming into our community, you guys got together. I think there's a large amount of you, a whole conglomerate of you. Is it not?
There's many, everybody played a role, and that's what I mean in terms of coming together. There's something we all can do. Pastor Smart and Reverend Mosley Jonathan Mosley were instrumental as well, and everybody has some kind of connection or an ability to change the trajectory of things that are happening. And so that's what happened. Everyone from all sides, Crenshaw Subway Coalition, Najee Ali was there, that kind of pressure to say, wait a minute, that is not what we want in our community. That person isn't partnering with us. And it was heard by the people who were selling the property. And I think that CIM realized that it would be an uphill battle for them to come in, disregard the master plan that was devised by the community for the community, and come in and say he wanted to do something total. He'd have to go through an EIR process that was not going to be easy, because who is he to come and disrespect what we have decided is important to our community? We cannot allow that. But I think it's also a good lesson for all of us. There was no reason why that property, if it was for sale, that we were not collectively joined at the hip to be in a position to buy that. Somehow we didn't think about that collectively. We have the ability because now people are coming together now to do it. We should have been doing that ahead of time. We should be ready. We need to be ready for that piece of property and every other piece of property that is vacant in our community or needs to be redeveloped in our community. That is something that we have to take responsibility for. And this is, and that's why I think this site is so important, because just imagine had the voices not come together, we would not have the opportunity to do something so pivotal, so central to our community. And it would have been gone probably forever, all of our lifetimes, forever.
And you know, it's so interesting that you said that, because when a number of us read it in the paper, we're like, oh, well, okay, there's nothing that we can do about it. I think I heard that so many times. And when I said that there were a group of people that were coming together, and they're like, there's no way, Crystal, they're asking for $100 million. So when I heard who was involved, I said, oh yeah, they're gonna make this happen. Because I knew a couple of people that were there, and I know you guys just persevere. And so we thank you for doing that. But now what we need is, what do you guys need from us? I know when I spoke to Damien, he had indicated that, you know, the steps you guys are moving through the steps, and the voices of the community is necessary. So what exactly do you guys need from us to help you guys do? Because that's pivotal. It'd be able to secure, because, you know, Windsor Hills and View Park is under siege right now. Crenshaw is under siege, and we're just kind of sitting, not knowing what to do. Most people don't know what to do. So what can you give us some guidelines on how we can help you guys?
Certainly. Well, first is being informed about what is happening. So this type of opportunity is critical. We have to stay acutely aware of our surroundings, the opportunities, and who's doing what policies and procedures are being put in place to create those opportunities, and how do they benefit our community. We are, lots of policies are being made, like transit-oriented community with no parking, or opportunities for the opportunity zone, for instance. How are we positioning ourselves to be involved in the process? And so everyone can think through that. That's important. So I'm working with a group of people who are doing the analysis. We're calling it the design and financial feasibility analysis. We will issue a survey so that people who are in our community can provide some meaningful information. For instance, there's 960 units of housing slated in the master plan. We need to discern what does that housing mix look like? Who do we need to serve? We know that We know that we have a lot of people who are, we know that, you know, we have a mixture of incomes and needs in our community. We have a large number of people who would love to downsize. And and then if they downsize, they want to downsize into something nice. So, and then that home becomes available for the next family. But that's a problem we have because everybody's living in large spaces that they don't need. Maybe this development needs to meet that need. Student housing. So many of our students, they can't afford to live on campus or to be near a campus when they're in school. And also it's very isolating for African Americans to be in an environment that they're unfamiliar with. So this site is at the center of the universe for Metro. We can do that. So we need a survey that really helps drill down on the needs. We also need to do some branding and marketing analysis, essentially to get the people off the hill. What does the mall or it's really a village have to have? What kind of stores and services does it need to make sure that we're not continuing to experience the type of economic leakage we experience because it's not here? We know that it can't be all high end. That doesn't make sense because we are a community of multiple incomes. So how do we create that mix? A survey is going to give us that information. Also, we want this to be a learning environment for the next generation of developers and people who are looking to be a part of urban planning, business development. We want to invite our young people to the table to learn and to take the information and knowledge out of the heads of our legacy developers and be able to carry it forward and pay it forward. So that's going to be very important. And I think the number one thing is we need to continue to support the existing mall as it is, because if you're going to buy an asset, you're buying what's there. You're spending $130 million on an existing asset. How many times do we shop there now? What do we need to enhance that environment so that more of us shop there? You know, how do we make the Macy's the #1 Macy's? And by shopping and maybe giving them feedback on the types of products that should be there, perhaps we can help them grow and do a better buying, you know, in their selection. We can do that interface more, not just say, oh, they don't have what I need, I'm going to go someplace else. We need to begin to engage the businesses and help them discern what will help them survive and attract the type of clientele and consumers that'll help them be a viable business. That's very important, not just for the mall, but also for every single retail corridor that we have. We have to begin that type of consumer engagement. And I think we have enough legacy organizations that can guide that process. Our business improvement districts, our trade associations, our chambers of commerce. Let's begin a more integrated approach in terms of understanding the business need, both consumer and also B2B. That's another important thing. The other element, I think that one of the things that we must do for this asset and for everything that we're doing is we create a community-centered ownership structure. There are so many tools to do that. We want people to make a conscious effort to buy a stock. Do it. You know, through crowdfunding, we can raise $1,070,000. And if we did that every year, just imagine, we can invest in a legacy business. We can invest in a new business idea, an innovative idea, but there's no reason why we can't do that right now and have that tool ready in multiple platforms, multiple organizations. That's a very easy tool. As you know, it's a syndication tool that's used by so many other communities and cultures. And I'm not sure why we don't do it, and that's a deeper issue, but I know we can do it, and that's what I want us to focus on. So I encourage all of our legacy groups to start that kind of investment tool so we're ready. We're ready. Don't look up and say, oh, did you know that was for sale? Oh, well, somebody bought it because they had what? They had some cash. We can become cash ready. There's the Reg A Plus, which allows you to raise up to 50 million, which is one of the tools we'll use for the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza. Why not have a Reg A Plus ready that everyone could put in $1,000 a year, $1,000 a year, and you can have it be national, whatever you want. But why not do that and be ready for the investment? That's what we have to all get ready to. We should make a conscious effort that we're going to save some money and we're going to invest it in a business and we're going to invest it in some real estate here in a pooled share asset. You don't have to do it by yourself. And they're safe. The Reg A Plus is, I can't say the word safe, but I can say it's regulated. It's regulated by the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, and so is the crowdfunding, which was created by Obama. It was a part of his Obama Jobs Act to create an opportunity for us to raise dollars for small businesses and invest in them. That's his legacy, and so far, hopefully, it's buried so deep in a book somewhere that the current person in office can't find it and change it, because the Obama Jobs Act works and we need to use it.
There's been a couple comments. We have Kevin Harbour from the BizFed Institute on. He's so happy to be involved in the Baldwin Hills Mall purchase and being involved in closing the digital divide in our community by integrating best-in-class technology and capability. And I know you were involved in the Jordan Downs project as well, weren't you?
Yes.
Sherri? And that was a vision part of that, right? Creating
Yes.
the digital technology for the parents and so forth. And
Yes.
and that's being built over there. You guys don't even know how
Yes.
amazing this young lady is. And if you don't, you need to sit down and have some conversation with her, because she will blow you away. Jeffrey Lake indicated that the Reg CF is expanding to $5 million.
Yes.
That's going to be a game changer.
Yes, exactly.
So can you guys explain for those of us that don't know what the Reg CF and the Reg A Plus is? What are those, and how do we find out more information so that we can read up as well?
Well, first, thank you, Kevin. I'm so excited that he is a part of the team because he's thinking about how do we make this a smart city, smart project where, we are communicating via technology and sharing data in a way that makes us efficient, makes us green. So we'll be able to implement those kinds of things and then create a grid of information that can be shared with a greater community, and also bring the type of technology that enables us to host all kinds of businesses. If we want this to be, have some studios, for instance, you've got to have some fiber optics and you've got to be able to transmit data very quickly. And you can bring in different kinds of studios if you have the proper technology and solar energy. So that's one of the ethos that we have for the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza project. Regarding, I'm going to just do a brief thing. And one of the wonderful things is, as Google, if you put in any of those words, there's a lot of information. So under the, and I'll just say for the different types of names, they have to do with two things. One is amount of money you can raise, and then who can be the investors. Are they accredited investors or unaccredited investors? Do you raise money just in your state, or can you raise it nationally? It also regulates, the different numbers regulate the period of time that you can go, raise dollars or have investment. So like you can only invest so much per year, per year per person. So you can pick the different kind of regulated structure to meet the needs of your project. So for the Obama Jobs Act, which like for the CF, right now it's $1.07 million, but if it goes to $5 million, that totally changes the game on the type of business you can invest in. With $1.07 million, you can think, okay, I can do this or that. So that would be a tool. The Reg A Plus, you can do 20 million, you can do 50 million. And again, it dictates This again, if you have accredited or non-accredited. Accredited investors are people who have a certain asset base of $1 million, and what they want to do essentially with saying who's accredited and non-accredited is make sure that you're not giving away your life savings to be a part of this investment, and that you have some level of knowledge of what the investment means. So they quantify it by income and value of your assets if you're accredited or not. And unaccredited is everybody else who don't meet that criteria that can be involved. And the other beautiful part about these various structures is you can make your shares as low or as high as you want. So you can make $100 share. That means everybody can join. I mean, you can go lower, but $100 a share makes it so that it's available to everyone. And then, people can invest to the maximum allowed per that type of regulation. But if you Google and go to the SEC, because that is, the place for it, and then also put in the Obama Jobs Act, it gives you a lot of great information. And we'll make sure we send some links that make the most sense to you, Crystal, so you can share it with everyone.
Stephen asked, what programs are available to purchase single-family dwellings as part of wealth building?
So I don't know if it's just programs, but we have several community-based organizations that are in that marketplace right now. Of course, the NHS, the Neighborhood Housing Services, is one of our leading entities to go to. They have programs for down payment assistance for first-time home buyers, I think up to $90,000, but don't quote me on that. West Angeles is in the community. They also have a first-time home buyers program where they're working with people to go through a homeowner's education and also provide some type of down payment assistance. These are programs that come and flow through either the city or the state. So I would encourage everyone, if you're thinking about buying a single family, to attend one of the classes and get involved with them to look at your credit issues, if you have any, look at how do you save, look at getting access to some of those down payment assistance programs. And then many of them work with other programs like HUD, where you can buy for 3% down, or the 203K program where you can buy units. And that's a really good way to look at entering the market, is to buy units. And it also gives you a little bit of money to fix them up if you need it.
What was that one?
The 203K, it's a HUD 203K loan program. Okay. And several lenders, we can get a list of the lenders that are qualified to provide FHA lending, both on residential and multifamily. So those are some of the things that people can do. The other thing we're encouraging people to do, one of those policy changes that we've talked about, is buying a single family home and then building an accessory dwelling unit, an ADU in the back for additional income. We have properties with very large backyards, and instead of, you can actually convert your garage or build a unit so that you can have additional income, and there are tools to do that as well. But single family purchases as a collective with family members getting together, that you can do, and you can also use the Obama Jobs Act to pull money together and buy a house, and then you guys do another house, and then you do another house, so you can raise that down payment and get a good loan. That's very important as well. So those would be some of the things that I would share, and I can provide a list of some other things to you to share with folks.
Thank you. And Colette Moore from PCR indicate West Angeles and the Neighborhood Housing Services offers first-time buyer and housing training. So basically what you're saying, Sherri, is we need to spend this time for our COVID quarantine, spend this time doing our research and realizing that we are not in we're actually in an opportune time.
We really are, absolutely. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge PCR. I've been on their loan committee for, I think, 16 years now. And, PCR provides loans for businesses. And if you haven't visited, they also have a program to help you work through your business plan and understand accounting and industry-specific data that you might need to really discern what type of things you need to do to make your business successful. The loans, they have what we call a loan guarantee program where perhaps you cannot get a loan from a bank or they've turned you down. Well, PCR has loan guarantees from the state of California that says, okay, Bank of America or Wells Fargo or whoever, give this business a loan and we will guarantee that loan for you up to a percentage, 50% say. And so you can't lose. Why don't you go ahead and give it to them and we'll do the loan guarantee on our side. We need more people to go to PCR. I cannot tell you how difficult it is to get people from our community to take advantage of that tool that's available. And we the loan committee has the ability to meet and greet with the people who need the loan and understand their model and trust them. You know, there's a level of trust. It doesn't have to be so black and white the way that other lenders provide loans. And I'll just say this. One of the things that strikes me by being on the loan committee, two things happen a lot when other people from not in our community come to get a loan. One is they're coming as a family or partnership entity. And someone will say, well, I want to start up my own watch retail business. But, you know, my wife is going to continue working and I'm going to keep working until it gets going. And we've been training someone else to be in the store. And I've been there learning the operations at this watchmaking company. So I'm very clear on how to do this. And they plan to not have a dual income. They do that year or two ahead of time so that that person with that knowledge can then take time off to go and start up that business and they can live off that income. That is very important. We have to put in the planning time if we want to start a business. It's not something you wake up today and tomorrow you're in business. It doesn't work that way. And the other thing, you see a lot of business legacy development. Families coming together and deciding, okay, Johnny, who's the son of someone, we're going to send him to the franchise school for Subway. That's what he's going to do. Yeah, he got his degree. Great, wonderful. Now you're going to go to Subway school, and we're going to help you start your Subway. And you know, you have the rest of your life to do a lot of other things, but let's help the family. Let's get this business going. We see a lot of that kind of collective strategy, and we've done that with Go Verde. That was very important. It's a family of families owning the cannabis businesses. And that model, I was able to think through because I sit on the loan committee at PCR and had an opportunity to see how other people have been able to do it.
Awesome. Does anyone have any questions? Kevin, would you like to interject? If you're still here.
Well, yeah, I'm still here, and thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak. It's been a pleasure working with Sherri. We go back, we're both UCLA alum. When I was president of UCLA Black Alumni, Sherri was a hardworking VP, you know, looking to change the enrollment and upgrade the enrollment of Black students at UCLA. We ended up together with a collective effort of quadrupling that enrollment. That's the kind of intelligence and energy you have in her. So she has my undying gratitude and support. But she tapped me in recognition of my 25 years or so experience in IT with Hewlett Packard and Verizon and Black Box. So from infrastructure, wiring and cabling, wireless, data center technology, the ability to provide complete emerging technology and coverage, whether it be 5G, looking at the different DSS bands, meaning the right kind of bandwidth based on the applications we're looking at, setting up other exciting things without giving away all our proprietary secrets, but setting up a situation where the whole community can take advantage of it. We're looking at the digital divide that exists right now. It's very important that we focus on that. 20% of LAUSD students do not have computer or internet access. Either they don't have a computer or the technology bandwidth isn't sufficient to be able to do video and distance learning. This is important. This is serious. with a number of homes and apartments and businesses that are going to be there. That calls for big access. It calls for power. There's also an opportunity for BizFed to clear the way, LA County Business Federation, in terms of any public policy that needs to be addressed, things that people don't think about that could come up down the line. We want to make sure that we're positioned on all fronts for this to move forward. So I am personally investing my time, both as a community member, because I grew up in Leimert Park. I own homes in Ladera and Windsor Hills and live in Baldwin Hills now. And I'm here. I'm in the community, and I'm here to lend whatever intellectual capital I have to make sure that this is a best-in-class showcase community investment.
So Kevin,
Thank
that
you.
actually segues into something, because earlier part of the first part of COVID, everybody talking about the 5G coming in, and our community has all kinds of mixed messages and I don't know what you might call them, rumors and all kind of theories. So can you just touch on, I know we got a few more minutes, just that's not the evil demon coming in to take over? Can you?
So, to understand how the infrastructure works, is small cell deployment, which is a lot more. There is science that goes to this, and we have to be able to differentiate science from rumor or innuendo. So, the good news is that because I'm the Chief Development Officer with BizFed, we enjoy having Verizon, AT&T, Crown Castle, Zayo, Spectrum, all the top technology providers, that can feed me information on the facts with empirical data, and then, to strategically make placements where there is no possibility of, how could I put this? Environmental impact, meaning human impact, with the technology's deployment. So, not to get too deep into physics, but anytime you have a signal, whether it be a radio signal, a current, or whatever, there's a magnetic field that circles it at a right angle, and depending on the power of that current or how that technology is deployed, you got to take all those things into account. And there's a way that you can do things which, will allow for a safe environment, but the ability to maximize your ability to enjoy that technology. So we have engineering teams that, I get to vet the solutions that they present and submit. I get to vet it. The good news is that I got a long history and background of dealing with engineers. Can't pull the wool over my eyes, and so we're good. And I also have some intergalactic nerd gurus that if there's something I can't understand, I know who to go to get that understanding.
Okay. So is there a place to find information out so people that are not the gurus that can feel more comfortable or at least understand what's happening and what that digital divide really means to our community?
Well, I can share one thing is that we've created a program called Wi-Fi Hoods, and HOOD stands for Housing, Organizations, Operations, Developments, and Streets, to bring Wi-Fi to communities. We were able to do that on Central Avenue, and we've gotten several grants, almost $1 million in grants from the California Public Utilities Commission to wire up affordable housing developments to make sure we give them access, but also to train them in how to use it to enhance their life, not just for what's happening on Twitter, but also job searches and job training and skill development, language learning, online banking, online shopping, things that help them track their kids' education. So the Wi-Fi Hoods program, we're going to work with Kevin to expand it and make it available curriculums, online curriculums for people to understand how to access the internet and how it's a powerful tool in shaping our lives today.
Okay, that's fantastic. See, I just know. I just need to call you, Sherri. That's what I need on a regular basis. So, guys,
I wanted to
yeah,
just add, the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza uh, will be featured in the Standard newspaper, I believe, this Friday, right? Yes.
Jason is on.
Jason's on,
Jason was
yes.
on earlier.
Yes, he's there, and I thank him. He's just asked, how can I help? And so I wanted to return the favor. I mean, we need to support him. He is talking about our community for us, and it's a place where we can share ideas. So if you can place an ad with him and or support what he's doing, please do. He's going to be an important tool along with other newspapers we have in our community, the Sentinel, Pace, to help keep us educated. We need to use those tools more to share information and spread the word.
And I believe media is definitely an answer for us because most of the time we don't know what's happening until it's too late to fix it. And
Yes.
so all media aspects, and that's one of the reasons for this platform is to make sure people know that people like you and Kevin and are out there doing stuff,
Yes.
Emma and anyone out there, Colette, that are doing things for our behalf, but you guys just don't know that. So, but this is the way, so you can see their faces and then you can actually reach out and support them when you see their names or attached to certain projects. One
Yes.
thing before we leave, Stephen is asking Sherri, is there any preferential treatment for former marijuana convicts to own their own business? I know in the beginning that was what you guys had worked on when you were having the training meetings. I went to a number of them. So is
Yes.
that still the premise?
There's a policy in place, and there's also law here in the city of LA and the state. The problem with that is accountability and making sure that it actually happens. And that's where we have to continue to fight for. If I could say anything to when you have this kind of opportunity for social equity, where the city is saying, if you were formerly incarcerated, if you lived in a low-income community, you can get a license and nobody else can. Don't then give it away to somebody who comes to you like a snake oil salesperson, because that's what's happened, and say to them, oh, you can manage everything, you can control everything, and you can be the person to tell me everything what to do because you're going to give me some money or pay me $10,000 a month. Don't do that. You just have given away everything that's been granted to you. We can step up to the table in the community and support that person and still keep them as a CEO in charge of their own company. It's not rocket science to create a cannabis store or even grow. I mean, we've had people doing it for years. It's just more technology and a little bit more regulations, but if we read them and understand them, we can make it happen. Don't let someone who's coming to abuse this opportunity take it away from you. And that's what's happened to so many people. The people who got licensed were also able to use the license and pretend like they lived in our community because they owned a building, and they say, oh, we've been in a low-income community. We have to make sure our politicians understand that that cannot be tolerated, and they have to do a better job of oversight, and particularly the Department of Cannabis Regulation. That's their job, and we put them in office, and we gave them this opportunity to create this wonderful new industry, but they have to protect it for us.
All righty. So we're at 12 o'clock. We want to thank everyone. Sherri, is there a way anyone, if they had any questions, further questions, or wanted to know how they could get involved in the Baldwin Hills project or any of the projects, is there a way they can reach you?
Yes, my email is Sherri@urbandesignCenter.com. That's SHERRI @urbandesignCenter.com. My phone number is 213-447-9264. 213-447-9264.
All righty, guys. So you guys heard it from her. Jason said all to reach the Los Angeles Standard newspaper, email him at jlewis@thelaststandardnewspaper.com. Visit their website, which is thelaststandardnewspaper.com, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. LaShawn Scott said, thank you very much for all this incredible information. Guys, it trended. We were live on YouTube. I'm sorry. We were live on Facebook. So if you want to go back and take a look and listen and write some notes down. and also share this and come back next week. We got another incredible community leader that is doing some amazing things, and we just want to keep you informed, and we hope you are getting a lot from these sessions every Thursday, and we will continue on. I hope we don't ever run out of leaders that are doing amazing things, and then I hope you guys become leaders as well that are doing things. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to jump off because I got to get back over to the kids that are graduating from Biz Camp and becoming new business owners tomorrow. And so thank you guys, and we will see you. Stephen, drive safely. Sherri, just my love, my heart. Thank you very much for coming out. Kevin, thank you, and everyone else. So we'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sherri, I'm going to give you a call.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.